great down here in Tennessee. We don't need y'all to talk about us because we're going to talk about ourselves. We told y'all.
Is it showing? Is it showing? Oh my gosh, this is a disaster. Look at that. We are the Tennessee Oilers for this Sunday's recap here.
Love you, Blue.
Man, oh man, Jake. Man, oh man. Is there ever an episode where there's lots to talk about and in a good way? In a good way. We are feeling good vibes. The Tennessee Titans, or Oilers, should I say, hosted the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday and come away with a much-needed, just sigh of relief victory. Arthur Smith's Falcons, that is, by a score of 28-23, in a game where the Titans never trailed in the ballgame. Yes, it got close. It got dicey there in the second half. You'd like to see us kind of not allow the opponent to close the gap there, but the Titans held strong. Bend but don't break. That's our hallmark, man. And boy, oh boy, there's, of course, the big hero, the big name. We will be talking about Will Levis. I don't know. He's going to dominate this episode, I'm sure. So there's a lot of good performances and things to talk about if you want to start there, and then we can work our way to Levis and where this team may go from here with him as the quarterback, Jake. So welcome in, everybody. This is gonna be a fun episode. Jake, how are you doing? How you feeling? Jersey rocking, or
oh my goodness,
killing it. I love that.
Our flag is back the right way. Just, I mean, we had a nation in distress just a week and a half ago, and now look at us. We're all decked out. We got the Oilers swag and apparel going on right now. It feels so good, Justin. I have to issue an early correction. The Titans did trail this ball game early on. 3-0 after the Malik Willis botched snap. I guess we can just dive right into there. I don't know why Mike Vrabel was so adamant that Malik Willis was going to play in this game. And we even talked about it in the last episode, going into the bye week, going into this Falcons game, that Malik, we love you, man, but it's just not happening. It's just not happening. And Mike Vrabel reiterated throughout the week leading up to this game, both quarterbacks are going to play. Both quarterbacks are going to play. And even the reports coming out said, nah, it's going to be Will Levis. And Mike Vrabel says both quarterbacks are going to play. And what happened immediately when Malik Willis came in the game? A turnover for the Tennessee Titans. And my heart breaks, Justin. My heart breaks because I know you were there. You had a firsthand account of this. But then when Malik came in for his second play, the whole place booed.
It was pretty loud. Yeah.
That I hate that for Malik, and it's not. I mean, you could correct me if not, but we're not booing Malik. We're booing the coaching decision to even send him in the football game. What good is it doing you to take Will Levis, who looked good? I mean, they got a first down on those first 3 plays, and you yank Will Levis immediately in his first NFL start. That is asinine and stupid, and it resulted in a fumble. So you said, you know what? Let's try it again. And they deserve to get booed. I hate it for Malik because it was so obvious when he was coming on the field in the rain of boos, and then Will Levis came in the next play, and the place was cheering.
Yeah.
I hate that for Malik. I really, really do. And I understand the player's viewpoint coming to defend Malik. Good teammate. That's a good leadership aspect. It signals that this locker room is very much together.
Yeah.
But
even Will Levis, very mature of him to immediately, he wasn't even asked about Malik. I think he was asked in general about the offense or something. And he directed, he kind of criticized the fans like, hey, we got to be better than that. Like, we're a team here. Yada, yada. So, great response from Levis, too. Even if, inside, he's like, why are we doing this? I'm fine, but I got to trust the coaches, I guess. But, very questionable decision. I don't know what Vrabel, he's so loyal, and, man, loyal to his guys and, what he's trying to do. I think and I was texting the buddy. I think he really respects the players that put in the work, that put in the film study, that show the dedication and passion to working on their craft and being the best football player they can be. So and Malik Willis, by all accounts, is that kind of guy. He loves the game. He loves being here. He's super positive. He's a hard worker. But man, when it comes to him getting onto the field in a real game scenario, he cannot get it done, Jake. And we saw it last year too, where whether he was starting the game or came in on some gadget plays, he could not help but turn the football over. And it's unbelievable that the first play he comes in, not only has he not progressed as a quarterback, he hasn't progressed into being able to run a gadget play without turning the ball over. And I hate to see it for him, because I know he's a hard worker, like I said, but it's not happening. It's not working. And there's no reason why he should play another snap. Is that too harsh? Like,
I don't think it's harsh. I don't think it's harsh. And I'm with you. I mean, if I was there in Nissan Stadium, I would have booed also. I can't take a moral high ground because I watched the game on TV, because I absolutely would have booed. And it's not directed at Malik. It's directed at the coaching, like I said. And it's just stupid to even send him in the first place. And now I will put the fumble on Aaron Brewer. That was a bad snap.
What was up,
Malik? Just fall on it, man. Just fall on it.
Yeah, true.
But yeah,
I was going to bring up that
snaps
issue
all day.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to bring up, like, what was with the snaps from Aaron Brewer. I don't know if you can really tell from the TV angle broadcast, but we sit in the end zone, so I can see, like, Will Levis reaching out here to catch a snap, over here catching snaps, up here catching. Or I guess you can see if he's jumping up for a snap on the TV angle. But you get what I mean. Like, it was very consistently inconsistent snapping. I don't know what's going on with Brewer today, but regardless, man, the O-line, man, showed up, and I think that was key. They showed up and gave this offense, and Will Levis particularly, time to make plays. And I thought they blocked well for the most part for Derrick Henry. So we got to get some balance in the run game to complement the passing game. And I think that helped Will Levis as well, to be able to lean on Derrick Henry, who, man, if you want to read off some stats, hit over 100 yards at 4.6 yards per clip, only along a 14. So it wasn't like he broke a long one. And then everything else was stuffed. I mean, he was consistently getting 4 or 5 yard gains throughout the day. And that really kept this offense in rhythm and in balance. Spears with a great big time run towards the end of the game that we needed to really chew up a lot more clock. So, yeah, man, I mean, Vrabel, we can criticize him for his thoughts and beliefs about Malik Willis, but after the Kevin Byard trade, which we will get to, because we did not that has not been discussed on this channel as of yet. A lot of question marks, maybe going around, but he got this team ready to play through those distractions, and man, we showed up, and boy, I mean, it was one of the more exciting games I can remember at Nissan Stadium. It was a lit atmosphere, as they say.
Absolutely, I've been telling it to everybody who is asking me about Will Levis and texting me saying, "Oh my God, like, what are the Titans doing right now?" Or, et cetera, et cetera. And I said yesterday, Justin, was maybe the most fun I've had watching the Tennessee Titans in 2 seasons since the Bengals playoff disaster. This has been the funnest. I don't know if that's a word or not, but the most fun I've had watching the Titans. And it was refreshing, and it was incredible. I mean, shout out DeAndre Hopkins, who was almost eclipsed Julio Jones's yardage for the entire 2021 season. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins, 4 catches, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns. It was all day long. I mean, as soon as Will Levis kind of did that little flick floater and it just hovered in the air on the TV broadcast, at least, it felt like Hopkins was always going to be on the other end with his dreads are flying everywhere down the field, and there he is again, and it was a sight to behold.
He's still got it 100%.
Yeah.
He may have lost a step, sure, but dude, if you watch I think it's the 61 yarder, the bomb, he put on a double move. You don't even need to be fast. He destroyed that double move, that defensive back, so badly. I mean, he was 5 yards behind him by the time the ball got to Hopkins. So just his savvy route running, his ability to get away with offensive pass interference, possibly. He has a knack for doing number one elite wide receiver things.
Yeah,
and
I
it's so
remember.
nice to see it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it. It's just so nice to see him doing it for the Oilers instead of for the Titans against us. I'm looking at him right now in the Oilers jersey, and I said Oilers, but we know, yeah, same thing.
I made the same comment, Justin. He has made his entire career getting away with offensive pass interference. I remember being so angry watching those Texans-Titans games, and he's pushing off every single catch that he would get against the Titans, and I'd be like, "That's offensive pass interference. That's offensive pass interference."
You would think it is.
He got away with one. He definitely got away with one. Maybe even
he hugged him and spun him around. I would be pissed. I would be pissed if I'm a Falcons fan. I'm sorry, but
they didn't throw it, so it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got two more on him, so it's not like they were stopping him outside of that play. And you used to love to see the crossing route on his second touchdown and his ability to get yards after catch and spin his way into the end zone. I mean, he's still got all the tools, man, and how huge that is for a rookie quarterback in his first game to be able to just be like, throwing it up. It's not a bad option to have an all-pro receiver like Hopkins to just be able to throw it up to, and you like your odds, whenever you have that option. And we had definitely made the Falcons defense pay, but man, yeah. So breakout game for Hopkins. I know he had a huge game in Indianapolis, didn't get into the end zone. I think was the only thing going for us in that game on offense, but man, so nice to see him get to the end zone. And then Nick Westbrook-Akina made his appearance late in the game. Maybe Will Levis's best throw of the whole game. The way he threw it off his back foot and dropped it right where Westbrook-Akina was. It was just beautiful, dude. I mean, do we have a gunslinger? Do we have a gunslinging quarterback on this team now? This is new and exciting. Tannehill did that a little bit in 2019, 2020. I mean, he had a sweet deep ball as well. A.J. Brown, all that was fun to watch. But it's been a minute. It's been a minute. And I'll go ahead and say, I want to apologize to Will Levis. I think a lot of fans owe Will Levis an apology because I hated this pick. I was not impressed with Levis when he played at the University of Kentucky. And it was not a position I didn't think necessarily of need yet. I would have loved to have seen so many different directions the Titans take that second round draft pick. But dude, look, like, it's crazy because he is the exact spark that this team needs. He could save the season. Maybe I'm overreacting, but 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in your first start, and on a team that has struggled for quarterback play to be good and consistent. So I'm sorry, Will Levis. I'm sorry, at least for this week. We'll see. There's a lot of football left to be played, but boy, you shut up a lot of people this week, including myself. So
100%, 100%, Justin. I love that you brought that up. That was a beautiful transition. I was going to go into this story, but with the fantasy football group chat and everything, all the trash talk that gets thrown out and those kinds of things. I made a promise to all my fantasy football friends that I would eat a mayonnaise ice cream cone if Will Levis went off. And so now,
no,
brutal. I don't have an ice cream cone on me right now. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it here. I'm not going to do it here.
Okay.
But so that's on the horizon for me, Justin. And speaking of shutting somebody up, nothing will shut you up like a face full of mayonnaise and a waffle cone. So
why would you do that to yourself? I mean,
I don't know, because I didn't think it would happen. I mean, how does this team catch lightning in a bottle? 2-4 quarterback change and a spark and hope springs eternal. I thought there was no way that could happen again. And I'm with you, Justin. You can go back in the Titans Tube channel to that draft video, and we're probably both saying how much we did not like the Will Levis pick. And I guess that's just being an NFL fan in a nutshell, because we don't know anything about anything, but we can spout off our opinions, and at least if we say it with vindication, we can feel good about it. But you might get shut up down the line, and
now look at us.
Now look at us.
We're booing when Will Levis is off the field. Now we're booing when he's not our quarterback. How things can flip so fast. That's crazy.
Oh my God. But unbelievable. I will say, Justin, I think we all need to take the pump of the brakes. I know it's an overreaction Monday, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm with you. I'm so with you. that he may save the season. I don't know if this team's going to go on an AFC title game run, but at least we have a glimmer of hope. And you're going to Pittsburgh on Thursday night with possibly no Kenny Pickett, Minka Fitzpatrick's ruled out, and you can get back to 500 with a somewhat favorable schedule down the line. And who knows what'll happen, But
still 2 games against division-leading Jacksonville, so I mean,
all kinds of opportunity available. If Will Levis can keep this up, will he throw 4 touchdowns every single game for the rest of the year? Probably not. But it is fun to get all giddy and feel, your stomach and your throat a little bit and say, "Damn, Will, I like what I'm seeing." So it's so much fun. I'm so happy that the Titans came out and won in that fashion. But we have to pump the brakes. Remember that it was the Atlanta Falcons. I know they're not the greatest team on earth. With Art Smith at the helm, it was kind of like the Titans playing against the Titans. Very similar philosophies going head to head there. But man, what a fun Sunday afternoon that was. And it was a sight for sore eyes. Justin, I don't know what, I guess I'll transition that into a question. Out of a scale of 1 to 10, how good do you feel about the Titans' playoff chances? I know, playoffs, talking playoffs.
Playoffs? We won 1 game here.
We won one game. We won 1 game. We didn't even score 30. The hunt for 30 continues.
Yeah, that's right. That's
but,
right.
I mean, I guess, how do you feel 1 to 10 about the outlook of the season? I'll put it that way.
I think my answer could change a whole lot after the Thursday night game. I'm somewhere in the middle. I may be a 5. This team still has issues. But I mean, if we can just get this offense to be putting the ball in the end zone, it does change an outlook on things. The Pittsburgh game worries me. It's a different story from playing in front of your fans in Nissan Stadium than going to a cold weather game in a rowdy Pittsburgh environment against an insane pass rush and front 7. That's going to be a whole different ball game for Will Levis to try to overcome, and this offensive line, because we got bullied by the Browns. Myles Garrett, TJ Watt is just as good, if not better, than Myles Garrett. But so it's going to be a challenge. But this absolutely inspires hope to see this kind of quarterback play and point production and just really good balance, on both sides of the ball. I mean, we haven't really talked about the defense, but as loud as the stadium got when D-Hop was running into the end zone and Will Levis was fist pumping his arms, it was just as loud watching Big Jeff and Landry eat on those sacks. Like, the stadium was erupting when that was happening. Really good. Shout out Harold Landry. Maybe he's finally getting back that strength, and because he has been playing a little bit better. He records 2 sacks, could have been 3 at the end of the game. That was tough. He went high and hit Heineke in the head there. But it's really good to see Landry getting more involved, in the backfield. And that's huge for this front 7. And Denico Autry, our big 3 guys got a sack between Simmons, Landry, Autry. Might as well shout out Jack Gibbons also got a sack. So 6 sacks on the day for this defense. Still, questions in the secondary. They did get some chunk plays and were able to work their way back into the football game. But still a good solid performance from the defense. And the special teams might as well go all the way around. I mean, Stonehouse was punting the crap out of the ball with a long of 72, average of 52.5 yards. 6 of his 8 punts landed inside the 20. He was phenomenal in keeping the Falcons as far away from the end zone as humanly possible. So great job. Great overall just team performance here. I think I took your question and went in that crazy direction, but the outlook for the season is definitely, it went from like a 2 to maybe a 5 after today. And if we win Pittsburgh and get to 4-4, like you said, the schedule is nothing to be afraid of on paper, but it is the NFL. So, I mean, any given Sunday, but I'll bump that up to like a 7. Like, shoot, we are in the thick of the playoff race out of nowhere with William Levis. I don't know your middle name, but I was going to say the whole thing.
We're going to have to learn. We have to study up on all of our
William Bartholomew Levis. That's his temporary middle name until we figure out what it actually is. Perfect. But yeah, I don't know. How are you feeling now? I mean, or are you are pumping brakes though? You are pumping brakes.
I'm pumping brakes. Yesterday at 3:30, 4 o'clock, I would have said 8 or 9. And then, you get a good sleep in and you reevaluate, on to Pittsburgh. So it goes. I liked
Yes.
your answer. It went from like a 2 to a 5. I was probably at a 1, if not like a 0.5. And now
Yeah,
I'm up to that 4-5 marker. And you hit the nail on the head, Justin. If they can go win on Thursday night in Pittsburgh, that could really turn the season around. That would be just a good thing for this team overall. And I like where you went with the whole team victory that occurred yesterday against Atlanta, because that's the first full team win I feel like we've seen. I know the Cincinnati game was a big blowout, and that was a big win for the Titans. But this felt different. This was way different than that game.
Because look
it
at
felt almost better.
If I could interject real quick, you remember that Cincinnati game? We put up all our points in the first half, did we not? We might have gotten a field goal in the second half, but if you look at the line, quarter by quarter score, it's 7 first quarter, 7 second, 7 third, 7 fourth. We were consistently getting points throughout the game. Very. You can't get more consistent than that. 1 touchdown per quarter, which I would definitely take with this offense. I mean, we'll never exceed 30 if we continue on that streak, but that's fine. I will take 28 points given the defense that we have, who is usually okay in keeping teams to around 20-ish points, give or take 3 points or so. But yeah, it's consistent. We were scoring in the first half and then scoring again in the second half. We didn't even need to be in the red zone. We talk about having to settle for field goals in the red zone. Why settle in the red zone when you can just get touchdowns 50 yards out? That's what Will Levis is thinking.
Yeah, and just the big play, injection into this offense that has been sorely missing for 20 games, 25, going back to the 2021 season, maybe even before that. Just the energy and the boost that gave this team, and you could see it. And you could see it on all facets of the ball, Justin. Like you said, the big 3 guys on the defensive line stepping up. I will say the Harold Landry roughing call, 100% a makeup call, because the first sack on Taylor Heineke that he got that was high and questionable was 100% a face mask, 100%. So it was a makeup call on the other one.
Fair enough to say that.
That's the TV advantage I get versus being in the stadium.
Yeah, but I didn't see that.
Whole overall team win. Love it, love it, love it. And I just said it gave this team juice. I guess this is where we can transition, Justin, to the big news of Kevin Byard's departure from this football team, because just a week ago, we're the most down in the dumps fan base we can. We lost the mayor. His nickname is the Mayor, Justin. He went to college in Murfreesboro at MTSU, drafted, kind of a hometown guy. I know he was from Philadelphia, but went to college, Middle Tennessee, stays there, becomes a fixture in the community, becomes a captain on defense, becomes a spoken leader almost immediately. And if you remember, he was drafted in 2016. Right after Henry, I think. Right after Henry. And then in 2017 is when they make the playoffs, and he has a whole slew of interceptions, and he makes 2 big interceptions in that win-and-in game against Jacksonville all those years ago, sending the Titans to the playoffs for the first time in a decade. I can't overstate his importance to the Titans franchise, the Titans community, the Titans defense, the Titans everything. He was a definition of what it meant on this team to be a Tennessee Titan. He was a perfect mold. And I have to shout out this stat that I saw on Twitter. Kevin Byard played in 127 out of 127 possible games. He never missed a game for the Titans. And talk about a team riddled with injuries over the years, absolutely plagued with injuries through the years. For him to hit 100% of games played, just that consistency alone, you're going to see 31 back there in the red arm sleeve making plays every single week. And it, as devastating of a trade as that was to this team and possibly to this locker room, it was incredible to see them rally, come together, especially on defense, playing a great game and getting a team win when you just lost probably the second biggest leader on your team, sans Derrick Henry. He was basically the Henry of the defense. I know you can say that's Big Jeff, but damn, I mean, I feel like I could wax poetic forever about how much I love Kevin Byard and how perfect he was for this franchise. But the ability to turn the page and get a big team win like this, especially with Will Levis making his first start, I mean, shit, man, that was beautiful. I couldn't ask for a better outcome.
Yeah, for sure. You put it perfectly. I was getting chills as you were talking up Kevin Byard and what he means to this team, and it's all true. He's absolutely a Titans legend. Just we cannot be more thankful to him and what he brought to this team. And dude, not missing any games is incredible. He finishes like in the top 3 in tackles, at least, also on top of all of his turnovers that he's getting. So he's just one of the most active players on this defense. And I don't know, I guess during the offseason, you could kind of suspect something like this was happening because he was asked to restructure his contract. I think he said no. So a trade was probably always in the balance depending on how the season was looking. And so, yeah, I guess Philadelphia is a buyer from the Titans. They got another one from us. So best of luck to Byard. And this fan base is kind of hot and cold with AJ Brown and their feelings towards him. No, it wasn't totally his fault that he was traded, but he also will keep firing shots at the Titans organization. I think, and he just did, talking to Kevin Byard, saying, "Oh, you're a winner now. We do things different around here." Like, dude, leave us alone. It's over. You got what you want. The Titans gave you exactly what you wanted. The team that would pay you your money. If not, we should have done that ourselves. But anyway, but I'm gonna be happy if Philadelphia goes all the way. I will be rooting for them if they make the Super Bowl. Just for the Kevin Byard. I mean, he's a player that has absolutely deserves to hoist a Lombardi Trophy. Unless the Titans meet him there, then screw off, KB. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm more of a Titans fan than anything else. So I wish nothing but the best for Byard. So yeah. And then this team still rallied to get a big win today. So
unbelievable. We couldn't have been more down in the dumps at the beginning of the week, and now, we're high on the Will Levis, HELLMANS, mayonnaise train, and I don't know where this goes, but now I'm excited to watch. I felt like I always bring up the defibrillator, like clear, and I feel alive again. I have risen out of my Titans fandom slumber. Even despite the trade of KB, even despite AJ Brown breaking NFL records every single week, even despite, Ryan Tannehill's slow descent into possibly a backup role, Justin, and we can get into that too. I don't know how in tune you were to the Twitter sphere after the game. Mike Vrabel seems to take every opportunity to discredit Will Levis.
Yeah, or just downplay it, or just not
downplay it, or not
was weird.
Say anything. And there's a weird air there. And I don't know if it's a coaching thing. I know Mike Vrabel is kind of an enigma, and I do trust him. And I saw the comment in the last video that I used to call him Blockhead every week, and now I think he's the guy. I still think he's the guy, but he will revert. I'm going to bring back the Blockhead nickname if Ryan Tannehill starts at all this season. I mean, I feel like you have to roll with Will Levis now. Barring a complete disaster in Pittsburgh, you have to go with Levis now. I mean, there'll be a mutiny for Mike Vrabel if Ryan Tannehill starts another game. And I'm starting to get these second thoughts about the body language of Mike Vrabel when it comes to Will Levis and everything like I mentioned.
And the language itself too. So there's 3. Let me bring up 3 instances of video that I saw. First, Will Levis is running through the tunnel after the win. Vrabel's always there, high-fiving players. It looks like he gives Levis some credit. You can't really make out what he's saying. And then he starts talking to him about something, and Levis gets real serious and looks at him, and he's nodding. And then Vrabel turns away. He could have been saying anything like, "Hey, you're gonna answer questions at the podium," or "Hey, do this, do that." But anyway, so that may be nothing. Then you got the locker room speech that they always release after wins. And unless they edited it out, he did not mention Will Levis in that video at all. And dude, it's his first game. He threw for 4 touchdown passes. Give the kid some credit. Congrats to Will Levis. Big shout out. How about that rookie quarterback from Kentucky? Yeah, that's what I expected. None of that.
Nothing.
And then in the press conference, he was asked about Levis, and Vrabel was like, not a bad debut. And then he immediately started talking about how good the receivers were, and just how, and then he didn't speak anything else about Levis in his answer. So there's something weird. Maybe he's like trying to keep him humble. He's trying to, bring him along slowly. He doesn't want to shower him with praise because maybe, he's a rookie. It could go to his head. And I don't know. There might be a strategy behind it, because also this is Vrabel's guy. They trade up to draft him, and then they had the shot of him and Carthon waving to the cameras right after the pick, and fans were like mad, like what are we doing? And now they're like, it's almost like they're mocking us from the draft room or something. So he's Vrabel's pick, and yeah, he's not really giving him a lot of credit. But boy, will he talk about Malik Willis and how hard of a worker he is and how much he loves Malik being on the team. So very odd. We'll see where it goes, but it's a little strange.
It's definitely strange, and I'm with you. And I know the knock on Will Levis coming out is that he's cocky SOB. Will Levis loves Will Levis was the quote from Colin Cowherd that made many a circle. And we probably even said it in our draft video. Will Levis loves Will Levis. He's got the gun show and the Bible verse tat, and So I think there could be a little bit of truth to the narrative you brought up, that he's just keep him humble, because obviously if you start your first NFL game the way Will Levis did, that could go to your head pretty quick, I imagine. And I mean, look at the fan base is going to our heads immediately.
Yeah. He's going to have enough friends and family singing his praises to his face enough. So maybe Vrabel knows that. He doesn't want coaches to be doing that too. Let's make sure we stay in the zone, on track here.
But for sure, weird angle. Like, throw the kid a bone, man. He just shocked your football team to life. Like, come on, give him a little love. But I get it, whatever. But it'll be something, definitely an eyebrow raise going forward. I think.
To stay on Levis for a bit, I mean, kind of maybe out of nowhere, but I do want to mention, like, it wasn't just the long balls, dude. He looked poised and comfortable in the pocket. I know a lot of people are talking about it, but he was doing that stuff. He was doing like shoulder fakes and then letting it go. And then there's a few plays where he made really smart decisions. He had pressure in his face one time, and I thought he was doomed. He was doomed from the snap, but he was able to get out and just spike the ball right where I think Derrick Henry was, take an incomplete pass. That's a veteran move. I think in the broadcast, I was watching highlights later. There was a really high snap, thanks a lot, Brewer, that he had to jump up and grab. And it looked like we were going to try to run a jet sweep, but then he just ended up tucking and running it and tried to get what he could immediately. And I mean, that's a smart play. You don't want to have a fumble exchange there. I mean, Malik would definitely try to hand it off. And who knows where that could have gone if he would have caught the high snap, which is a question in itself. Sorry, I shouldn't be dunking on Malik. I like Malik, but man. Anyway, back to Levis. It was, and he seemed poised, and like you could see him like barking out signals and motioning receivers, and it looked like he was going through his progressions. Like he looked like a natural out there. So you can kind of compare that to maybe Mariota's first game, where he threw 4 touchdown passes, but it looked very much mechanical, system based. He made a read and put it in there and did that. But it looked like Will Levis was just playing his style, playing his game, and just it seemed to come to him naturally. And that was the most encouraging thing that I saw. And he could have had a bigger day, dude. He had a Conquo dropping a ball that would have been a huge game. Traylon Burks, the pass could have been a little better, but it was a catchable pass right there on the sideline.
It was good defense. Good defense by the defender.
It was good defense.
Swat that out late.
True, but anyway, so it was the little things like that too is impressed me just as much as the long touchdown throws.
I'm absolutely with you on that point, Justin. And I don't know if it's a homer or a Titans fan bias to say, but even the negative plays were positives in a weird scope. And the last one, the one you did not mention, was at the end of the game. It's 3rd and 4 or 5, and they run the bootleg to try and pick up a first down, ice the game, but the defender is right there and he eats the sack.
Yeah.
And I know that we would have been, annoyed at a sack anyways. You want the first down there, but it was a heads up play to not throw the ball away.
Yeah.
In the heat of the moment with somebody chasing you down right after the fake, you want to throw the ball away and avoid the sack, but he had the presence of mind. And I'm sure that was direction number one, in the
Yeah.
play call. If it's not there, just eat it. So the Falcons had to use their last timeout.
It's true. I mean, because you got Stonehouse as your punter, man, and he did his thing again where he pins them deep. So taking a sack there is not the worst thing. Yeah, make Atlanta burn a timeout. And that can be hard for Levis. It's my first game. I'm on fire so far. I'm going to make this play. I'm going to make something happen. Trying to force something or throw it away to avoid the yardage of loss of yardage. But in that situation, you would take the loss, the yardage loss there, in exchange for the Falcons using a timeout. Anyway, but continue. Yes.
No, it was just I'm so with you. He looked poised. He never look scared. I hate man. I don't know if it's the rag on Malik week or what, but Malik looks like a scared little kid out there, dude. He looks like a scared rookie young quarterback. And, you see that across the league. It's not just Malik. You see it all the time with these first-time starters or these young guys who get hit a couple times and they're frantic and they have happy feet. You see it a ton. And you just did not see that on Sunday with Will Levis. It was calm. It was collected. And it was – dude, I mean, those passes were buttery. Those long balls just seemed to flutter in the air, but they always ended up right where they needed to be. And man, it was just a complete breath of fresh air for this franchise, and one that was sorely, sorely needed.
Oh yeah.
As the trade deadline looms tomorrow, Justin, and I don't know if it's a relevant talking point or not, but I felt like this game was massive. If the Titans lost this game and Will Levis looked not great, they probably would have been sellers, come Tuesday afternoon at the trade deadline. But now I know there's mounting reports that Derrick Henry is not going to go anywhere. Hopkins is not going to go anywhere. I mean, knock on wood, that can always change. But it's massive. It's so massive for this franchise who was just about to trade away. Kevin Byard was on the fence about trading away Derrick Henry. There was a ton of smoke about trading away Derrick Henry. And then Hopkins, oh shit, what a waste and a cup of coffee that was. He's going to get shipped off to somewhere where they actually can contend. I'm not saying the Titans are going to contend or anything like that, but wow, it was great to just have a little bit of hope, a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of the clouds parting,
Yeah, it's interesting you brought up the trade deadline as well, because if there's anybody whose trade chances went up, is Ryan Tannehill's, perhaps, because you see what you have in Will Levis. Maybe if he can keep that consistent play, if that's who he is, and it wasn't just a one-off lightning in a bottle game for him. And then you look across the league and you got Kirk Cousins going down. You got a couple other quarterbacks. Starters went down, and I can't exactly remember who. Ritter is benched now. I don't know if they want to make a play to reunite Tannehill and Arthur Smith. But I don't know if there's any team that is willing to take a flyer 6th, 7th round pick maybe for Tannehill, but you got to know he's on a bum ankle, maybe 2 bum ankles. I mean, he's had a lot of ankle past year. And then you kind of see he is declining, he is regressing, and his play in general, which you hate to see. But I don't know if there's a team out there that feels they're a quarterback away. The Jets may, if Aaron Rodgers can't make his miraculous comeback, do they like their chances with Tannehill over Zach Wilson? Who's to say? I don't know. But with the performance of Will Levis, then some quarterbacks going down, it could be something to keep an eye on. But I would be shocked if a team was willing to give up anything for Tannehill. And to top off that point, if Will Levis goes down hurt and Ryan Tannehill cannot go because of injury, let's go to the streets. Let's sign another Josh Dobbs off the streets. I hope we make that move instead of putting Malik back in. And I'm sorry again, Malik, but you've just proved that you haven't developed, and you keep turning the ball over, and you can't win a football game for this team after giving several chances. So if worst comes to worst and we don't have Tannehill or Levis able to take snaps for us, we might, it might better service to look for a free agent out there waiting in the wings.
Absolutely. And that was a big hold your breath moment for Titans fans, because now, like you said, Ryan Tannehill could be on the block. But I mean, if it was something where Ryan Tannehill didn't have the bum ankle, absolutely. I'd be saying get anything you can for him. Let's roll with Will Levis. But with the bum ankle and the trade deadline being tomorrow, it's a really tough sell, and you're not going to get really anything for him. But I think Ryan Tannehill's best value, it was a point of contention on Titans Twitter, and no matter what happens, there's always going to be little dust ups, and people were talking about how Mike Vrabel's press conference this afternoon, he's going to say when Ryan's healthy, he's our starter. But
I bet he does say that.
He didn't. He did not say that. He kind of coach spoke about it. He was like, he said, we'll roll with Will again if Ryan can't go on Thursday. And
that's
then
kind of insinuating he's our starter, but he's not because he's injured.
There was a coach speak where he got into like, well, I can't make that call right now. When Ryan's healthy, we'll reevaluate the quarterback position. The classic Vrabel, I'm not going to jump to any conclusions. We're evaluating everyone week to week. So he didn't flat out call Ryan the starter, which is great because I thought for sure that he would. I was on the side, just like you just said. I'm sure he's going to say when Ryan's healthy, he's our starter.
Yeah.
So I think Ryan's best case scenario, and I think the Titans' best case scenario, I'm sorry, Malik, you're the odd man out, but when Ryan Tannehill is healthy, he needs to be your backup quarterback 2, because, God forbid, Will Levis does go down with some kind of injury. You have Ryan Tannehill. You're just back to square one, and you can win a couple football games.
Being the backup for Tannehill in 2019.
Yes,
correct. For Tannehill, but you still have Mariota, who's not a terrible backup quarterback option.
Correct.
Still is a decent backup quarterback option today.
Absolutely. And it just goes to show we might be living in 2019 all over again. Just
weird.
We've just transferred back in time 4 years ago, and we're kind of in the same scenario. Yeah, now 17's the backup to 8.
There you go.
So an interesting play out, but I think Ryan Tannehill needs to, one, just rest on that ankle. And I don't know, you probably didn't see this, Justin, but Ryan Tannehill was engaged. Ryan Tannehill was smiling. He was happy for Will Levis. He was next to him, coaching him up the whole time, in his street clothes and ankle wrap. But that's a good. I think that's a good spot for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I guess I didn't really get that sense. They didn't show a whole lot of Tannehill, on the Jumbotron there. But I think it would be great for Will Levis just to have Tannehill there on the team in the locker room for him, that veteran presence to help coach him up, to be there, right by his hip whenever, a defensive formation comes up or anything that could come up during a game or throughout the practice week. He's got Tannehill right there next to him. I think that's would be important for Will Levis in his development as he continues playing games for us. So that's good. And thank goodness for Tannehill, in the kind of high quality, putting the team first kind of guy whenever he knows like this is his last hurrah with the Titans. And he didn't want to go out like this, but he's still putting the team over himself, and he wants Will Levis to be the best quarterback he can be. So that's great. That's great. And so I think that, that's going to help Levis if we don't end up trading Tannehill, which sounds like we're not going to, but yeah, I like that you said that.
Without a doubt. And it's, I made the joke on Sunday, Ryan Tannehill was like smiling and like almost kind of laughing. And I made the joke. He's like, man, I'm so happy I don't have to take a hit the rest of the season. I can just
got those paychecks, dude. He's still on a big contract.
He's not worried about it at all. I thought that was pretty funny. But man, I keep saying it, but what a breath of fresh air for this fan base, for this team, for this everything, this organization. Oh my God. I mean, Rand Carthon was probably sweating having to trade Derrick Henry if it went really poorly yesterday. I probably would have said, might as well, if you're going to ship Byard, ship Henry too. So we're not there. We're not there, Justin. We are holding on for dear life. And even Derrick Henry in his presser said, they've talked about it. They've had open conversations, and he said it's a positive direction. I want to be here, and I feel like they want me here. So
yeah,
all that considered, it's a positive forward motion for this squad.
I mean, Hopkins and Henry could owe their Titans tenureship to Will Levis having the game that he did and winning this game for us, and probably kept Vrabel off of any kind of hot seat talks and speculation as well. I think we said in our last video that I think Vrabel and Carthon are just keeping their fingers crossed, being like, please be good, Will Levis. Please be freaking good. Because, man, it's going to be a bad look if you go out there and you are no better than Malik Willis, and this team just keeps burning these draft picks on fire. But, man, he was everything and more. It was a performance we could have hoped for. It couldn't have gone any better.
Yep.
So not only are we excited for the win, but this does draw tons of excitement for the long-term future of this team. And it's going to be a lot of fun watching Will Levis behind center Thursday night, and then hopefully in the Sundays to come to see exactly what we have here. I hope we got a guy. Yeah, I hope we have a guy. It's going to be a long, sad ride.
No overreaction. You know, and it's. I think it's just a cruel NFL poetry moment that, you know, Will Levis is the second quarterback to throw 4 touchdowns in his rookie debut. Who was the other one?
Oh,
Marcus Mariota. And for the Titans.
How excited were we, dude? How excited were we?
Twist of fate. And like I almost wish that wasn't the case. You know, I wish he would have thrown 3 touchdowns instead.
Should have. One of the receivers should have dropped a ball just to get away from that curse.
But yes, lots of excitement. Justin, I don't know if you have anything to take us to the barn other than looking forward to Thursday night. It's going to be an interesting watch. That's no doubt about it.
And dude, it feels like it's been so long since we've beaten Pittsburgh, even in our Tannehill Henry heyday of 2019, 2020, 21. I think they beat us a couple times at least. And it feels like it's been 10 years since we've beaten Pittsburgh. I might have to look that up, but that's a team that's had our number a lot these days, especially in Pittsburgh. So it's going to be a tall task. Mike Tomlin will have that team ready. It doesn't matter who's the quarterback. I would much prefer to play Trubisky. I think Minka Fitzpatrick has also been ruled out, which would be big, but Tomlin is kind of Vrabel-esque, or maybe Vrabel is Tomlin-esque. I don't know, but Tomlin is the one who has been there the longest, and he always fields a competitive team, no matter who's their quarterback or what kind of injuries they have on that team. So it's going to be a tough game in a tough environment, and so we gotta flip the switch. But man, I'm excited to see this team do a follow-up performance.
Absolutely. I'm just going to petition to wear the Oilers stuff every week because that was just so much fun on Sunday. So we'll see if that makes it up the ranks. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Love you, Blue. Tighten up. We are no longer a nation in distress. Our flag is back the right way. Thank you, Will Levis, Billy Jeans, William Mayo, whatever you want to call him. That was a lot of fun. And hopefully we can keep it rolling Thursday night in Pittsburgh. Tighten up, everybody, and looking forward to the rest of the season now. We got a new flipping the page, new script. That's right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Also, real quick, shout out to Todd. Todd, if you're watching it, we made it all the way to the end of the video. Yes. But just a guy that came in and was super nice and introduced himself and said he was a fan of the channel. So that's always cool and awesome to hear. I mean, we don't have the biggest channel or whatever, but we appreciate the little community we have here. And it's always fun to talk to people that do watch the show. So shout out Todd, big win. Glad we were able to share that moment together watching that game. So yeah. Absolutely. Cheers, Todd. Thank you. To Todd. Yes.